Good evening, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Tim Kirby Russia. Today's amazing news that is good for me personally, for the deepest part of my soul, is that Tucker Carlson has been spotted at the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow. As in, Tucker Carlson is in Russia to do something. Now, the big speculation is that there's going to be an interview with Putin, which is interesting and cool, and if any Western journalist could achieve that feat at this point, it's probably someone on the level of Tucker Carlson, or maybe only him. But, guys, I bring this video, this topic, because, you know, I talk to you guys in English, and in English, it's a little bit of a different world than the world that I'm used to when I work in Russian. And for many years, I've made the case to the Russians that all of their attempts to sort of use some kind of like people's diplomacy, as they call it in Russian, or some sort of like soft power interaction with the West to sort of win the hearts and minds of especially the American public, not in a nefarious way, like to win their hearts and minds to overthrow America, not in a nefarious way, but win their hearts and minds enough to sort of become like people, you know, in the subconscious mind of the American public, and thus maybe avert disasters like the war in Ukraine. So that's been a big issue. A big mission for a lot of people within Russia was, let's make friends with the kind of average person in the West, and then somehow this will avert a lot of potential problems. But obviously, if you guys are listening to me and you have the same American accent that I do, or one of the family of American accents that I do, you know that, the government doesn't always listen to us, okay? In fact, when it comes to war and stuff like that, they don't really listen to us pretty much ever. Sometimes they do on certain issues, but not on the war issue. I guess there's too much money involved. But anyways, despite the fact that maybe trying to connect with the average person, the public, may not be the most effective strategy to completely avert, again, disasters like what's happened in Ukraine, where, you know, probably already, if you total everyone up, we're at least over 500,000 dead Ukrainians, potentially another 500,000 who've been wounded for life, and millions have fled and all this other stuff. It's all awful. But anyways, I'm kind of beating around the bush here. Long story short is the sort of Russians who do a lot of this people's diplomacy and stuff, they kind of, first off, don't really understand how to even connect with the American people or what they're interested in, because a lot of people in the United States are generally sort of interested in their lives and themselves. You know, they're sort of interested in what the game on Sunday, or as Judge Napolitano puts it, whom Taylor Swift is dating, and this, that, and the other, and of course their own personal issues, their personal finances, their job, their future, so on and so forth, trying to spark some sort of deep interest or sympathy or mercy or feelings of brotherhood for some distant people, far, far away, who for many decades were the legit enemy during the Cold War, is not really an easy task. And so, because I've been asked this question as foreign guy who works in the media and does geopolitical analysis and humor and plays American football and a whole bunch of other stuff, but mostly because the analysis side of my work, I've, given a lot of speeches to try to answer the question how Russians could actually connect with the American people. And to be honest, no one's listened to me. Never. One of the things that I got the most laughed at during my whole career is back when Trump was first going to become president. I wrote an article where I said that Putin, on their first meeting, Putin should take the time, a couple hours to train up to throw a perfect spiral pass. Grab that American football and throw a pass. He supposedly, as legend goes, didn't really even know how to play hockey or skate very well until he became president, and he sort of studied up to learn how to play hockey because that was good for his public image, and hockey's very manly here, and it is in America and Canada too. But anyways, as an adult who was already president, he was able to learn a very broad set of skills. I would only be asking the president to learn one skill, how to throw a pass at like 5 to 10 yards to Trump. Because if he did that on their first meeting, that would have gotten the attention of the entire United States masses. Because you guys know, again, if you're Americans, you would know, what are the only politically correct topics left to discuss at the water cooler? You can talk about the weather, and you could talk about American football. Thank God, at least we have that to still talk about, right? And that would make a big difference. American football could really have been the bond between the common people here and in America that could have maybe had a real influence on public opinion. Then again, to what extent public opinion works or not, I don't know. But in connection with this, so my whole American football is the bridge between peoples and various other things. Like I've said to the Russians, you guys have to make a movie that's successful at the level of Star Wars. Because, pretty much people all over the world have really been raised on Hollywood movies, certain real titanically large, titanically successful Hollywood movies, including the Titanic. And kind of ironic there. But, Russia has to achieve that. The video game Atomic Heart actually did really, really do well. I'm not quite sure if it quite relayed anything positive about Russia, but there's certainly a lot of Soviet-Russian kind of stuff sort of in it, which is better than nothing, I'll put it that way. So that was a bit of a minor triumph, another, let's just say, beam on the bridge to actually building a successful alternative to Hollywood, the AAA video game universe and the Silicon Valley social media dominance and all that other stuff. So good job on that one, but Russia's still far away from achieving that. But anyways, with Tucker Carlson, this is kind of me finally getting what I wanted, because Tucker Carlson is at that level where his personality... So first off, Tucker Carlson's audience, being the sort of like MAGA Republican, more or less, is that kind of person that a Russian message can go to. That kind of person and your average Russian, their way of seeing the world actually kind of lines up pretty well. They can agree on a lot of things. And in fact, especially their views, both sides' views on foreign policy could line up very well. And I'd like to also reveal that maybe you guys don't know, but a lot of people like Scott Ritter, Judge Napolitano, you get into your Colonel McGregor, a lot of people from that sort of universe, Ray McGovern. Everything they do gets translated into Russian, probably without their permission, probably to steal views and all that. But a lot of the people from the whole sort of Fox News, Republican, now kind of semi-independent, former CIA kind of guys that have popped up on YouTube since the beginning of the Ukrainian war, everything they say and do gets translated into Russian and published on Russian social media. So these people, you might not believe it, but in some ways, Tucker Carlson is a star here among people who pay attention to political stuff. So he's both a star there in a huge level and a fairly decent star here. And I'm hoping that this is finally that kind of like moment that finally people within the Russian government are starting to understand about if they really do want to connect with the American masses, like they've told me over the decades that that's what they want to do. They make friends with the American masses, and that's going to avert disastrous, Third World War, nuclear war, and all that. I feel positive that maybe someone woke up and understood that ultra celebrities, super successful AAA celebrities that represent a sort of ideological, basically, in all honesty, the sort of mainstream ideological position of the average American, which lines up again with the mainstream ideological position of the average Russian. Like, this is it. This is finally, after all these years of thinking that if we just do forum and everyone wear nice suit, I shake hands with senator from Nebraska and we make peace. No, that's not how it works, man. This could be really eye-opening. This could really, depending on how Tucker Carlson, depending on what he does, this could really be that moment that a lot of people in Russia have been waiting for, this sort of bridging the gap between peoples. So ultimately, that's what I wanted to say, is I'm kind of filled with hope. It'd be great if someone threw Tucker Carlson a nice spiral pass. They're probably not going to. In fact, I tried to pull some strings to find out just where Tucker Carlson is. So maybe I could do that job. But unfortunately, I was denied such information. Anyways, guys, I hope you found this interesting. This is a big moment of hope in an otherwise dark soup of despair that has been the last 2 years. So anyways, Tim Kirby Russia, signing out.